Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining. Wanted to talk a little bit about Stronghold. The exchange we're on is Gate.io. Hey, by the way, this is going to be all technicals and zero fundamentals because I don't know much at all about this altcoin, but this is a really attractive and nice looking setup. So for any bag holders, I think you may enjoy this video. So let's hop in. So for starters, I've got the wave counts, and let me just walk you through these. I anchored. There's a few places to anchor. There's not very many exchanges, but I chose this level down in here, which was in August of 2023. I could have gone farther to the left, but it really doesn't make too much difference in the overall wave count. So if anybody is an Elliott Wave fan or curious about this, that's the anchor point. So here's where we place, again, the anchor, and then here is wave 1, and then here is wave 2, so we're always corrective. And this is what's extremely exciting, is that we are just getting started on this third wave, which are typically the longest, strongest, and most explosive. And they are typically twice as long as these wave 1s. And we'll dig more into what this third wave looks like here in just a minute. But let me just share with you, walk you through this wave 1. So here we've got the end of wave 1. Here's the ABC pattern to round out wave 2. And then we've got wave 3, wave 4, and then we definitely have got a extended fifth wave, which is extremely normal. These fifth waves, these explosive fifth waves in cryptos. So this makes sense. So again, here is the end of wave 1, of wave 1. Then we've got this whole corrective pattern. So here is, it's an ABC. Here's our A wave, B wave, and right down here is the end of the C wave, and C waves are always, they need to be lower than the A. So I like that. Not only that, we've got this rectangle in here that I put in here, and this makes sense to me. And if you followed me on some of the other videos, I'm a huge fan of these rectangles. They're continuation patterns to the upside. Not only that, Nicholas Darvis back in the 50s really put this thing on the map. He was a professional dancer, but one of the best books I've ever read. So at a zoomed out level, this is an amazing looking setup. And I can't wait to share with you what I'm seeing here. Looks probably in the next 6 or so months. So now let's focus on, there's a bull flag in place. So I'm going to zoom in on the rectangle as a whole, but we're going to focus on this section too, just real quick. For this, the bottom of wave 2, let's just walk through what this wave count, where we're currently at. So I've got wave 1 ending right here, wave 2 right here, and this at the top of the channel is wave 3. We've got wave 4, and then after the fourth wave is always an up wave. This right here is the fifth wave. I love bull flags. They're in the top 5 of all patterns. Just to clarify, when they do break out, they rank in the top 5 in terms of accuracy for price action, as well as time. This is clearly a breakout, and this is a strong breakout, which is so good to see. And this whole section down here, this is considered like a flagpole. This is your flag. If I were to do just something extremely basic, just imagine if that was or is your flagpole. So imagine if this is a flagpole and here's your flag. If we were to remove this pole and we were to place it at the point of breakout, it's tough to see right now, but the price action would eventually go up here. And this is what we're going to talk about here in a second. So the good news is price action broke out. So now when price action does, it typically follows the same similar angle. So just keep that in mind, because these next 6 months, in my opinion, as we get into 2025, between now and May, maybe June, and in my opinion, before we see a nice correction, these next 6 months, in my opinion, are going to be really explosive for some altcoins. So let's lock in a channel here. So we've got channels within channels per se. So here is our rectangle. Here's the top of the rectangle. But then this is a Fibonacci channel. I'm a fan of channels. So this is the bottom of the channel where we anchored for the Elliott waves. But you can see how price action respected this nicely for quite some time. And then we had price come up to the top of the channel. When price action hits these top of the channels, it will typically find the bottom, which it found it twice, and it wicked it right there. And then price fell below it, but popped back in, which is totally normal. So I like this channel a lot. So I just put in this midline of the channel It's going to be very relevant here in a second. Let me just share with you what I'm seeing. I like this. And this midline also validates that this fib channel fits nicely. And here's why. If you can see that, we had price action on the end of this little third wave wick, the midline. Then we did have a nice breakthrough. Then we came back down for a retest, and it retested it for, looks like maybe a couple of weeks. So I like that a lot. And then obviously we had a allergic reaction right here. Then price came back down to the midline, wicked it, respected it, got snagged a little bit right here. So I like this a lot in terms of the channel and as well as the midsection. I'm zooming way out because I want to illustrate where I think we're heading. Because we've got so much in front of us, I zoomed pretty far out. So also what I did is I placed the fibs, and I anchored the fib extensions from the end of this wave 2 and the beginning of this third wave. These will eventually be our price targets, which we're going to talk about too in a second. But you know how I was alluding to when price action finds the top or bottom of channels? So how it found the top right here and then came back right there, as well as right here. So now what's really cool is price is going to find its way. It's like a magnet, but price is going to find its way to the top of this channel. And to illustrate from a target perspective, this green shaded area is the longer term price targets for this wave 3 that we are now in. The chart's getting a little busy. So what I did was, you see this black line right here, it goes right here. What I did is I included the wave lines for the wave count. So here's wave 1. This black line going down is wave 2. Now I added this because I wanted you to see what a third wave typically looks like. And right now at time of recording, price is at 0.0139. And then the target up here in this gray shaded area is 0.141 to 0.165. And this area typically up here, let me just zoom out so we can see this a little better now. There, I zoomed out, so hopefully you can see that a little better. But what's interesting is that this green shaded area also is double confluence with the top of this channel. So to me, it's really not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, but we'll know more in the coming weeks and months, because as I alluded to, I really think that this next 6 months is the last 20% of this bull run that we're in before we see a healthy correction. I fully expect price to eventually find the top of this channel, and here's why. In cryptos, as well as the Fibonacci sequence or the Elliott Wave Theory, Elliott Wave needs the Fibonacci sequence, and then also cryptos, even TradFi, they really love the Fibonacci sequence. And again, as I alluded to, these are the extensions. So right now, when we get this breakout of this bull flag, remember it's a measured move. So we've got this 236 right in here. So price is going to it's going to struggle a bit with this midsection of the channel as well as this fib. So we may get hung up in this section a little bit. In a second, I'm going to draw out what I think price action is going to potentially look like. But we're going to get snagged here, and then we're going to go up to the 382. And this 0.5, which by the way is call it 0.056 cents, definitely will get snagged here. Then we've got the golden zone, which will probably hang out here for a little bit. But then we're going to go to the 786, and this is like clockwork. Etch this into your memory if you could. But when price action hits the 786 for the first time, it definitely will act as overhead resistance. And we'll probably get kicked back down to maybe the 50 level. But time, as we go through time, we'll take a closer look to monitor it. But eventually, we're going to find this green section area. This is the 14 cents to 16 cents. This is where I think we're going to have a healthy correction, because we're going to go from, say, 16 cents down to potentially 0.09 or 0.07, back down to the 786. And then we're going to move to the fifth wave, which I don't have. I think it's too premature to zero in on that fifth wave. But just know this, that fifth wave needs to be above the third wave, which puts it at a minimum of, say, almost like 17, 18 cents, again, at a minimum. But we'll take a look at that in the coming months to see how we are progressing. Let me just share with you what I'm seeing, and then we will wrap what I'm not not forecasting, but what I'm expecting. Just trying to clean this up just a bit. Boy, this is such a great looking chart. Yeah, there we go. So here we are on this bull flag. And remember, once price breaks out, it's pretty explosive. So there's a couple things that can happen. We could have a nice breakout to the upside and then come back down for a pullback or a retest, which is 100% normal. May go sideways to create that base. This is a classic support resistance flip. So this overhead horizontal line, when price breaks through it, what we're doing now, then it will act as support, and then we could get a move to the upside. And this is where I think we're going to get snagged a little bit because we've got this double confluence per se, again, with this 3.6 fib as well as this midline. Get rid of that. So let's say we've got price up here and we get snagged and we come back down. And again, it could come back down here, or we could just do one of these. This is not the best drawing tool for this platform I'm using, but hopefully my point gets illustrated. But when price breaks through this midline as well as this fib, it's going to be extremely explosive. Then we are going to meander our way up to this section up in here. So anyways, I hope that was a good kind of illustration in terms of where I see price action going over the next 6 months. Let me just kind of zoom out. So if you want, you can definitely take a screenshot. Yeah, there we go. But I would say this, I've said this on other few videos too, but patience is really the word of the day, and you've got some really good times in front of you. But if you wanted to take a screenshot, but these will literally act as the price targets. If it was me, if you're not a day trader, swing trader, and you're a hodler and you want to have a payday, but for me, selfishly, I'm going to skim some profits right here when price reaches the top of this channel again, which is right around the 15 cents mark. Anyways, I hope that was helpful for everybody. And this is a great looking technical setup. So congratulations to all of you that own Stronghold. And again, Happy New Year's. Cheers.